Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Cricket on Forever Sport, and what was another very interesting day between South Africa and Pakistan. Day 3, and Pakistan are currently in their second innings and finished on 129 for 6. So a very big day in terms of moving the test quite far forward. And before we sort of break down the day's play and where the test is as a whole, please do subscribe to the channel, bottom right hand corner there. Smash like on the video as well. Remember, when we get to 1,000 subscribers, we will be giving away a Protea shirt. So make sure you subscribe right now in order to get us to 1,000 subscribers. Right, so in terms of the day that was, it was a day where South Africa really needed to try and bat deep. And Quinton de Kock had come in last night to join Temba Bavuma, two batsmen who bat very well together. And they needed to go and put on a big partnership and be a platform, build a sort of platform for South Africa. And we really needed Quinton de Kock, who hasn't scored a lot of runs, to dig deep and kick on. And unfortunately, he didn't do that. And I'm sorry, but you look at an innings of 29 off 20, and I understand it's his natural game, but it's not good enough for your captain. And even when you take the captain away, for your number one batsman, your sort of talisman of the side, to go and score 29 off 20, the strike rate of 145, when you need to take this match as deep as possible, is just not good enough. And that is the biggest problem with de Kock at the moment, is he's not playing like a test player. And then after that, Bavuma carried on, and Vian Mulder looked very positive. He grinded out 33 of 83, looked really set, and then needlessly ran themselves out. I mean, to have two run-outs, him and Rabada, is absolutely needless between South Africa, because there was a good partnership between Bavuma and de Kock, a decent partnership between Vian Mulder, and was kind of on the road, on track to being exactly what South Africa needed at the time. But they just kept losing wickets. And then Maharaj, for me, is I mean, you can't really excuse what he did. I mean, to not have a defense where you can try and keep a ball out like that. I mean, he won off 15. You know, he had the intent there, but he should have been caught. He's a very aggressive batsman, and this is the problem. I think he's a phenomenal bowler. And we'll get onto his bowling as well, because I really do think he's very underrated as a bowler. But as a test batsman, he's not a test batsman, and we need to stop thinking that we've got an all-rounder in Maharaj, because I think he's quite a good eye, and he can go for it. But I worry that his technique isn't quite good enough. And then Rabada needlessly ran out. Probably Temba Bavuma's fault. Called a single which wasn't there, in trying to up the ante a little bit, try and sort of get as many runs as they could. And then Anush Nortje came in and left one on the stumps. So Bavuma was there, left unbeaten on 44 off 138. A strike rate of 31, which I think is exactly what South Africa needed. But I think that he needed to probably try and accelerate with the tail. And this is the problem. And is batting with the tail is an art. And as soon as Maharaj came in, I think it was a time where Bavuma had to look to try and accelerate and try and, rotate the strike as much as possible and let Rabada, Maharaj and Nortje face as little as possible. So, look, it's difficult to criticize somebody who was sort of left there. I mean, to be fair to him, he sat there and watched de Kock, Mulder, Linde, Maharaj, Rabada and Nortje all go out. George Linde scored 21 off 21, hitting 3 fours and a 6. So also looked to be quite aggressive. And again, is that the right approach? Should we not be trying to just stick out there and just try and last as long as we can? And the runs will accumulate, And I just think that's the biggest problem, is that, often we haven't been willing to sort of play the long game and put in test match innings where, where you have to maybe bat quite slowly. I mean, South Africa's run rate for the innings was 3 runs, and you compare that to Pakistan's first innings, where their run rate was 2.37. Sometimes the slower run rate, sticking around, taking it deep, it becomes easier to bat, and you shouldn't need to earn the right to play these shots. In terms of the bowling card for Pakistan, was Hassan Ali who caused all the issues. He took a fantastic fifer. He got 5 wickets for 54 runs at an economy of 3.45. So he was a bit expensive, but it was just chipping away. And for South Africa to lose all those wickets to seam, it's just frustrating, because we talked about how badly we play spin, but the spinners only got 1 wicket. So it was the seamers that really did South Africa in, which is probably the most concerning, because it's something that we kind of we would have thought we would have backed ourselves. However, South Africa then went on to bowl and bowled brilliantly. Rabada got a wicket early on, and then the spin twins took over. Maharaj got 2 wickets, including Baba Azam. He seems to have his number, and this is why I say, I mean, Maharaj, watching today's game, it was one of the most enjoyable sessions I've watched, where every single delivery, something was happening. There were edges, there were catches being dropped, there were, it was all happening. Maharaj was really getting underneath the skin of Pakistan. He was responsible for Imran Butt, and in the second innings, he was responsible for getting out Baba Azam, as we said, as well as Abid Ali. So, 2 very big wickets. And then George Linde, who I've been saying needs to try chipping with more wickets. He hadn't taken a single wicket before this innings across the 3 innings of the Test series, which for a spinner in subcontinent is a little bit worrying. But he pitched up and he's taken 3 wickets, removing Azhar Ali, Fawad Alam, as well as Fahim Ashraf. So thanks to Linda and Maharos, South Africa clawed their way back into the game. However, we do have Mohammad Rizwan, who's currently on 28 not out, and he's with Hassan Ali. So, Pakistan currently sit at 129 for 6, a lead of 200 runs on the dot. South Africa cannot afford for this tail to wag. South Africa, if they want to try and win this game, pretty much can't concede more than 20 to 40 runs, really. They need to knock over Mohammad Rizwan early tomorrow. They need to get into the tail. They need to remove the tail. They need to get themselves back into bat. And then they are going to have to really, really apply themselves. South African batting has been what's been letting the side down the entire series. And, 220, 240 is a very big ask. But if you're going to let the side down, if you're going to complete letting, for the bowlers, if they can bowl out Pakistan the second innings for 160 to 170, they've done their job. It comes down to the batsmen to try and get. Suddenly that's 70 runs. If you're looking at a lead of 130 with 4 wickets remaining, it's a whole different ball game. South Africa had to come in with much closer to that 70. To have had that 70 lead when Pakistan walked in just removes so much pressure and means that whatever they score, you're going to sit there and go, oh no, whatever they're on plus 70. A whole mental thing shift changes as opposed to, for example, if you get a first innings lead in the second when you're batting second, and suddenly they have to grind out to 50 just to level your score and then almost sort of restart. So that's where sort of the whole mental impact of Test cricket kicks in. So for South Africa to get into this Test match, they have to take 4 wickets for next to no runs in the morning, and then the South African batting lineup really has to start applying themselves and trying to prove that they can go and score 220, 240, 300 runs, because that has been the issue. Not enough runs, too many starts, too many cheap dismissals. You look at the South African batting card, and you've got Dean Elgar 15, that's a start. Markham 32, that's a start. South African C 17, that's a start. Temba Bavuma 44 not out, so you can argue probably would have gone to his 50 had he been better supported. But Quinton de Kock 29, that's a start. Bjorn Mulder 33, that's a start. George Lindy 21, that is a start. Too many starts and not one player going on to have to make the big scores. Pakistan had 2 players who made 50s and a player who made 45, and all of a sudden they were 270. The other batsmen didn't do anything. So if you've got players, if you can get 2 or 3 players that can go on and score 50s, or else you've got one player that can go and score 100, suddenly 250, 270 comes quite easily. And that's the whole point, is that somebody needs to take owners and be the cornerstone of an innings and go and score big. And that's what hasn't been coming for South Africa, not a single century in the series, and that needs to change in the second innings if South Africa are to try and do anything in this Test match. Let me know what you think of the match down below. I want to hear your thoughts as well. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you soon.